Very good evening to all the students of BIPC. So yes, we are here with a master plan on cracking NEET 2026 with grand success. Okay, you might be thinking that NEET 2025 results have not yet released, but then we are preparing for NEET 2026. Of course, it is important because NEET 2025 exam has taught us that biology is not that easy to attempt. Okay, so vigorous practice, revision on daily basis is required for biology concepts as well. So with that perspective, here we are to explain you the complete strategy, especially this is your Prasanna Ma'am, to explain you the master botany for NEET with 100 concepts of botany. You can master your NEET 2026 with 100 important concepts for botany to get 180 on 180 perfect score in NEET 2026. So yes, before that, how to analyze the 100 concepts for NEET based on the previous year statistics from NEET 2019 to NEET 2024 and NEET 2025 statistics. What we have observed and analyzed is from plant physiology after the new syllabus has given, which includes only 3 chapters, that is photosynthesis in higher plants, respiration in plants, plant growth and development. Photosynthesis is weighing up to 12% from the entire syllabus. Respiration, if you take, is 10%, plant growth and development 14%. On total, if you calculate beta, it is about 30% from NCERT 11. If we have to consider NCERT 11 botany chapters as 100%, from that plant physiology is weighing how much? 30% of total NEET exam. Next important or major chapter is cell biology, which includes 3 units. What are they? Cell cycle and division, molecules, cell the unit of life. 3 of them put together, it is about 25% from total weightage of 10th. Okay. Next, from anatomy of flowering plants, it is 10%. From morphology of flowering plants, definitely you will get examples only most of the time, be it match the following type or directly a statement and example related to that, and most importantly we can expect from families also and floral diagrams. So as such, the weightage from morphology of flowering plants is 12%. Next, plant kingdom is 8%. Biological classification will be 6% from total NCERT 11. Next, next living world, which is of very little weightage, hardly you can get 1 or 2 questions of 4% weightage. Okay, this is from complete NCERT 11. This is live session beta. This is live session. Next, so if we have to look into chapter wise weightage according to NEET 2025 from NCERT 12 chapters of botany where we are dealing, genetics to major, which has 2 major chapters, principles of inheritance and variation and molecular biology. This itself covers 50% of weightage from NCERT 12. Okay, botany concepts. I am talking about botany. Okay, principles and molecular basis itself is covering how much? 50% of the content. Next, 25% of the weightage will be covered from sexual reproduction of flowering plants, which means on whole you may get 3 to 4 questions from sexual reproduction of flowering plants in final NEET. Next is microbes in human welfare, hardly 1 to 2 questions you may get beta from microbes in human welfare, which from NCERT 12th it weighs about 16% of weightage. This is complete strategy based on the NEET 2025 paper. Now let us encounter the most important topics under each chapter. First, if we have to look into cell, the unit of life, wherein we are dealing from the first class, that is complete analysis of prokaryotic cell followed by eukaryotic cell. In eukaryotic cell, we are clearly learning the differentiation between plant cell and animal cell, including non-membrane bound organelles, single membrane bound organelles and double membrane bound organelles, highlighting the limiting boundaries of plant cell and animal cell. The limiting boundary of plant cell wall, we are going to learn it in detail, and animal cell, we are going to learn the fluid mosaic model, which is widely accepted model for plasma membrane. Second, we are going to look into keenly is cell wall and cell membrane, which is third major segment of this chapter and most important segment. Definitely there will be a question every year on endomembrane system, okay, which includes 4 organelles: endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes and vacuoles. Okay. Next, double membrane bound organelles, which includes chloroplast, mitochondria and nucleus. Next, last and foremost important segment, that is cytoskeleton. Under cytoskeleton, what we are going to look into beta? Microtubules, microfilaments and intermediary filaments. And we are also going to look into cilia and flagella. These are the major segments we are highlighting from Cell the Unit of Life, which covers the entire chapter. Okay. Next chapter under this unit. Yes, for MPC also the chapters are being covered and 100 days challenge is there. If you go to our YouTube channel, you will get it better. Okay. Now, cell cycle and cell division. From this first major segment you have to focus is cell cycle, where you have to highlight interphase and M phase. Under interphase, you have to focus majorly on G1, S phase and G2 phase as well. When it comes to M phase, 2 phases you have to focus majorly. One is mitosis, second is meiosis. And from meiosis, definitely in the every alternate years, you will get a question specially from prophase 1 of meiosis. Okay. Definitely there will be a question from prophase 1 of meiosis highlighting the 5 substages of prophase 1. What are they? Leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotene and diakinesis. Next chapter under cell biology, that is biomolecules, which on total weighs of 3% of this chapter. We are going to cover in this challenge, 100 days challenge, we are going to cover biomolecules, structure and functions. Biomacromolecules we are going to highlight, that is carbohydrates one day, monosaccharides and polysaccharides, proteins of primary proteins, secondary, tertiary proteins and lipids and nucleic acids one day, and then enzymes. Enzymes part 1, we are going to deal its types, classification and nomenclature. Enzymes part 2, we are going to deal with the enzyme action, enzymatic action. Fine. Now comes the major chapter or the major unit, that is plant physiology. In plant physiology, from the chapter photosynthesis in higher plants, what are the segments we are going to cover? From early discoveries, which is from the major equation or the standard equation of photosynthesis, definitely there was question in every 2 years, okay, from the early experiments. Next, chloroplast pigments, okay, chloroplast pigments, where we have to highlight both absorption spectra and action spectra from E.W. Engelmann. And then light reactions were 3 subsequent reactions: absorption of light in the form of photons, second is photolysis of water, third is non-cyclic photophosphorylation or Z scheme. Definitely there was a question in the alternate years, okay, from non-cyclic photophosphorylation, and we have to learn cyclic photophosphorylation as well. And important segment, that is chemiosmotic hypothesis, where in your NCERT there is one complete page which is explaining chemiosmotic hypothesis under 3 paragraphs. We may expect statement based questions from that area. Next, dark reactions or light independent reactions, where we have to highlight all these cycles: C3 cycle, C4 cycle, CAM cycle and C2 cycle, which is also called as photorespiration, that is operated in C3 plants. Next, factors affecting photosynthesis. Lastly, highlighting the principle of Blackman, okay, Blackman, and factors affecting photosynthesis. We have to look into external factors and internal factors as well. Next, respiration in plants, wherein firstly we have to learn the types of respiration. anaerobic and aerobic respiration, and based on the respiratory substrates also we have floating type of respiration, protoplasmic type of respiration as such. Next, glycolysis, which is a major segment of this chapter, definitely we may expect the question. Next, anaerobic respiration, where we have to learn both alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. After that, TCA cycle, Krebs cycle, which is again major concept, electron transport chain, definitely we may expect the question from here also. Lastly, amphipolic pathway, that chart which is given in the NCERT, and lastly is the respiratory quotient. All these segments are important, nothing to leave from here. And next, plant growth and development. From plant growth and development, initially we have to look into seed germination types, both epigeal seed germination and hypogeal seed germination. And then phases of plant growth we have to look into, 3 phases of plant growth, right? And then growth rates, arithmetic growth rate and geometric growth rate we have to focus, and then we have to highlight the concept of differentiation, de-differentiation and redifferentiation. This concept we have to learn connecting the chapter of anatomy of flowering plants beta. Next is development, where we have to learn the concepts of plasticity and heterophyly. And then plant growth promoters, plant growth inhibitors, we have to learn both of them under phytohormones or plant growth regulators. Fine. Next, biological classification. This completely weighs 2% of total NEET examination, hardly you may get 2 to 3 questions maximum, where in this how we have fragmented the chapter. Firstly is systems of classification, under that we have to learn Monera, which is the first kingdom. We have to learn it in linking with prokaryotic cell of cell, the unit of life, and then Protista, plant like protists, and fungi, animal like protists, those are protozoans. Protista part 1, Protista part 2, and fungi also we have to learn in 2 parts, wherein fungi part 1 we are learning about general characteristics and classification of fungi, and fungi highlighting fungal kingdom is reproduction. Okay, we have to know all the asexual and sexual methods of reproduction, especially asexual and sexual spores beta. Next, virus, viroids and prions we have to learn. Most probably there are many frequent questions asked from virus, viroids and prions. Okay. Next, plant kingdom. Plant kingdom we have to learn firstly types of classification, be it artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, phylogenetic system of classification. And then we have to look into algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Of course, life cycle is skipped. Angiosperm is also deleted from this chapter, but angiosperms we have to learn here to make it clear under the chapter sexual reproduction of flowering plants, which is placed in NCERT 12. Okay. And life cycles, without the life cycles we cannot understand sexual and asexual reproductions of all these divisions. So, definitely we have to learn the life cycles also. Next, morphology of flowering plants. This is a very simple chapter, to be frank, because having little memory hacks you can completely get this chapter into your grip. Okay. So, first if you have to look into vegetative characters beta, from vegetative characters and floral characters, this is how we have to partition this chapter. From vegetative characters, root, stem and leaf. Root modifications and its examples, where I will give you a nice tabulated form and a flow chart also. Stem modifications and examples, leaf modifications and examples as well. From floral characters if you have to look into, inflorescence both racemase and cymose inflorescence. Just a second. So, Agatha, ma'am, what books we want to purchase? Books to standard NCERT books, NCERT along with the major practice books. Okay. NEET world books will majorly help you better, because in NEET world books we are segmented, we have segmented complete objective practice, and all these sub segments are given you with memory hacks and mnemonics. Okay, so I suggest the NEET World Book and NCERT Fingertips. That is also one major book you can opt for practicing the objective. Okay, this books I suggest you. And this segments will completely cover your botany chapters, okay, which is on total 22 to 23 chapters I am covering. Floral characters, here inflorescence you have to look into racemes and cymos. Flower based on position and symmetry, you have differentiation of flowers like based on position hypogynous, epigynous and perigynous flowers. Based on symmetry you have asymmetric, zygomorphic flowers and actinomorphic. Aestivation and placentation, definitely there was a question every year from aestivation and placentation. Fruit and seed, and families which are newly included, which includes Leguminosae, Cruciferae, Malvaceae, Compositae and Graminae. And then anatomy of flowering plants. From this, secondary growth is being deleted beta, but then you have to fragment this chapter into tissues, tissue systems. Secondary growth is not there, but to the students who are focusing on EAP set, secondary growth will be beneficial. Here for NEET perspective, you have to fragment this into meristematic tissues primarily. Second, permanent tissues, you have to highlight both simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues, and then tissue systems. After that you have to look into each root, stem, leaf, analyzing both dicot and monocot comparative studies you have to go through. Okay. So, this is what you have to highlight from anatomy of flowering plants. Next, NCERT 12. With this we have finished NCERT 11 completely. From NCERT 12, 4 major chapters we are focusing on: sexual reproduction of flowering plants, principles of inheritance, molecular biology, microbes in human welfare. From sexual reproduction of flowering plants, we are going to look into pre-fertilization events, microsporogenesis, pre-fertilization under that megasporogenesis. Both microsporogenesis, megasporogenesis highly important. Next, pollination and outbreeding devices, double fertilization, post-fertilization events. After that, apomixis, parthenocarpy, polyembryony. These are the specialized events that we have to focus on. These are the segments that we have to highlight from sexual reproduction of flowering plants. Of course, here along with microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis, we have to look into anther structure and carpel structure as well. Okay. Next, most importantly, anther wall layers. We have got question many times from anther wall layers, that is to from tapetum, okay, which is the innermost anther wall layer. Next, if you see from genetics, firstly principles of inheritance. This one chapter only weighs around 8%, okay, 8% of your total NEET paper, wherein firstly you have to look into important terminology like what are the traits, what are characters, what is varieties, okay, what is homozygous, what is heterozygous, what is genotypic ratio, what is phenotypic ratio. Complete terminology should be in your mind, okay. And then monohybrid cross, you have to learn monohybrid cross, highlighting the first 2 laws of Mendelian inheritance. Those are Mendelian's law of dominance, second is Mendelian's law of segregation. After that you have to look into test cross, back cross, and then you have to focus on exceptions of monohybrid cross or deviations of Mendelian principles, which includes incomplete dominance, codominance, multiple allelism and pleiotropy. All these concepts beta, all these concepts you have to highlight the examples. Along with examples, you have to mainly focus on phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio as well. Next includes dihybrid cross, then you have to look into the applications. Those are numerical parts, like how to identify the types of gametes, how to identify the number of seeds, how to identify the genotypic phenotypic ratios, those problems and all numericals. I will deal one complete session on the numericals only. Next, we have to deal with chromosomal theory of inheritance given by Sutton and Bovary. From here you have to highlight each and every scientist discovery, because scientists and discoveries are also given based on the match the following type of questions we may get. Next, linkage and recombination, and then sex determination, female heterogamety, male heterogamety along with the examples. Next, mutations, and then genetic disorders, chromosomal disorders. After learning genetic disorders and chromosomal disorders, genetic disorders specially, we have to look into pedigree analysis as well. So, this completes the chapter of principles of inheritance and variation beta. And next again, molecular basis of inheritance. This covers 6% of the total NEET paper. First, from molecular biology, what you have to focus on is DNA structure. DNA structure, nucleotides, how many it will be in double stranded, how many it will be in single stranded, what is it with respect to circular DNA, what is it with respect to linear DNA. Completely you have to get an idea about the structure of DNA in the first part of this chapter, okay, structure of DNA and RNA. Then you have to highlight on DNA packaging, highlighting nucleosome model of DNA packaging. And then central dogma of molecular biology, where you have to get crystal clear idea on replication, transcription and translation, wherein from replication both prokaryotic and eukaryotic replication, and you have to have keen idea on the enzymes which are involved in replication, all the 7 enzymes from helicase to ligase. Completely you have to have an idea about the enzymes and their action. Next, transcription, both prokaryotic transcription and eukaryotic transcription. After learning eukaryotic transcription, post-transcriptional events are major important things you have to look into. What are the post-transcriptional events in eukaryotes beta? We have, what do we have? Splicing, capping and polyadenylation. Next, translation, okay, where synthesis of proteins. After translation, it is important to know about genetic code, where I will give you complete tricks on how to decode each and every genetic code with respect to all amino acids. Next, gene expression. Under gene expression, okay, negative gene regulation, positive gene regulation we have to learn. Under that positive gene regulation, Lac-Operon model we have to look into. Major model under gene expression is Lac-Operon model. After that, Human Genome Project and DNA fingerprinting. With this, complete molecular basis of inheritance will be finished. After that, the small and very easy chapter, again completely memory based, hardly 1 to 2 questions you will get from this beta. Those are, that chapter is microbes in human welfare, wherein microbes in household products and industrial products, okay, this complete examples you have to know. Second thing is sewage treatment and biogas production, that is the second segment, and last segment of this chapter includes biocontrol agents and biofertilizers. With this, complete chapters of NCERT 12 also will get completed. So, this is a 100 days challenge with 100 concepts, each day one concept, okay, each day one concept, and practice the objectives from that. If you are getting any doubts, drop it in the comment section, I will be answering all your doubts beta. Each day one concept, definitely you will be successful in NEET 2026, okay. So, there is a very popular quote which says that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. It is not just one day you will sit, you will read complete NCERT 11, the other day you will sit, you will finish complete NCERT 12, and if you look into for 1 month completely you will complete biology, that is a wrong phenomena, okay. Biology you will not get good score if you are doing in that way or if you are practicing in that way. Each day, even if it is 1 hour or 45 minutes, spend on biology, okay. Read every small concept, look into very small concepts of each chapter, like how we have highlighted for each chapter, okay. So, definitely you will be successful if you focus on every small efforts day in and day out. And we are here from NEET World with you at every step to make your dream come true and make you people successful. Yes, thank you and see you tomorrow at the same time sharp 6:30. with our first concept from 100 days challenge. Thank you.